Hello YouTube, just want to offer today a review of the Marathon GSAR, the Government Search and Rescue. This is the automatic version, also comes in the as a quartz movement, and this is the 41mm version, also comes in a 36mm. I just quickly want to show you a wrist shot of the Marathon GSAR on the rubber strap. This strap came with mine, but I have the bracelet edition, so I always wear it on the bracelet. Today, just before doing this review, I decided to wear it for a while on the rubber strap so I could comment on it. And it's very comfortable and a very sporty look, a very good look, and a high quality rubber strap. So I wanted to show it to you before I go ahead and switch it back to the bracelet and then talk a little bit about the design of this watch. So here we have it on the bracelet. The bracelet is a wonderful piece for this, for the Marathon. I really highly recommend it. I think it just really gives it a whole classy look. The bracelet is a nice weight to it, and it counters the weight of the watch itself. So it's a good good balance to the watch. Let me take this off. And by the way, you may it's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania, beautiful Saturday, and I've got the garage door open. So you're liable to hear children, dogs, trains, cars, and I apologize ahead of time if that's distracting. The wonderful thing about this watch is it has nice drilled lug holes that make switching these out very, very convenient. So let me tell you where this fits in my collection. I purchased this as my very first Swiss timepiece. Prior to this, I had a lot of $100 and $200 entry-level watches, Omaha's watches, and I was flipping them like crazy. And I really took a long time picking this watch because I knew it would cost me a lot more to flip this than it would to flip a $100 watch. So I did a lot of research, a lot of time. I was afraid that my emotions would wear off and I would find that this isn't as beautiful a watch as I thought. Waited a long time, finally got it, and just really my love for this watch has not changed. What drew me to this watch is the design. Now, interestingly enough, if I were to tell you what I like or don't like in a watch, here's some things I don't like. I don't like a lot of numerals on my dial. I don't like 24-hour markers on my dial. I don't like a busy bezel with a lot of notches. And of course, what do you see? All of that. I don't like the busyness of most dials, but for some reason Marathon managed to pull this together in a way that just works. It's very functional, very utilitarian in its look. The part I love most about it is that when you look into it, you feel like you're looking into a three-dimensional timepiece. And the reason I say that is because you can see the depths of the dial, the depths of the chapter ring, the depths of the bezel. With that massive bezel, you have a lot of depths. You can see the depth to the hands. In fact, I'll try to get some cell phone video so I can get you some closer up look. But you'll see that with the thickness of that bezel, you have a lot of depth to this dial. And ultimately, that is what hooked me on this watch. I love being able to look into the just the depths of the dial. It reminds me a little bit, as you're looking at it, like flying over a stadium and looking down into a very busy, energetic atmosphere. So I love the look. I stare at this dial probably more than any watch that I have when I wear it. So very well laid out, very functional design, and the bezel itself is really well made, and you can see the thickness of it. And as I turn it, you can hear it has a nice clicking action. Cool thing about this bezel is that it's a 120 click bezel, but there's like 2 little clicks per each click, so it's almost like a 240 bezel click. So you can get very accurate alignment there. The other part about the bezel I'm really captured by is the material. All the research tells me that's an aluminum bezel insert. However, it's a very thick and dense kind of aluminum, if that's indeed what it is. It really is very solid. There's engraved markings all around, so that's not printed on, that's not going to rub off. It's very deep and a beautiful engraved look about it. And so I'm very very impressed with the ruggedness and the beauty of the design and the quality of the whole look of this, of the whole design of this watch. The crown is quite a rugged piece too, and as you pull it out, it has a nice wind to it. I will tell you that I bought this watch. Oh, it's a 3-year-old watch. In fact, if I turn it over, you can see the markings on there. It actually tells you that it was made in May of 2013. I think there it is. So this is for me a about 3.5-year-old watch. Picked it up used and found a great deal on eBay, about $625, and that certainly beats the $1,100 retail price of this watch. When I picked it up, this really wound beautifully for the first few months, and then I noticed that when I began to turn this, the rotor would spin inside, and it was like stuck to the rotor. So that should be swinging freely as you're manually winding the movement, but it wasn't doing that for me. So I went to YouTube and found an actual repair video of a Marathon GSAR, and followed the instructions to the T, and was able to lubricate 2 or 3 little wheels inside the right underneath the rotor. So a couple of screws came out, the rotor comes off, you flip it over, and then just dot each of those gears with a little bit of watch oil, and I put it back together, and I've not had any problems since. It winds beautifully. That's certainly something that's pretty common to the 2824-2 movement, ATA movement that this has. Just from my research, I hear that happens quite a bit. It is doable on your own, but you may want to have a watchmaker do that for you. So a couple of things that I wondered about as I was reviewing all the reviews on the internet before buying this is I wondered if this would just be too tall, if this would just look like a big huge Coke bottle sitting off my wrist, something way too deep. But I will tell you that if I show you a wrist shot, I don't think it's too obtrusive. If that's something you're wondering about, it really lays nicely on the wrist and has nice wrist presence. It's one of the only watches I get actual questions and comments about. People notice I'm wearing this watch when I wear it. It's a lovely design. I have a couple of issues with it. Notice you have a little bit of overhang of the bezel over the case. So my question is, why couldn't the case have been a little bit wider, maybe extended at least to the edge of that, if not a little beyond? I think this screams out for a 43 millimeter case. Maybe keeping the bezel the same size, but just widening the case a little bit. And the reason I say that is because this is a lot of height, and it feels like this watch has a high center of gravity, and it would seem to me that a wider base would give this a little bit of a lower center of gravity on your wrist, a little bit of heaviness underneath this sizable bezel. And a wider base could have meant a 22 millimeter lug width instead of 20. I think 20 is just a little bit on the slim side, and this tapers even down to 18. I would have loved to have seen 22 with almost no taper. That would have given a little more robustness to the bracelet that would match the robustness of this bezel. So again, the bezel is just huge, and it really sticks out there, and it's what drew me to the watch. But again, a wider base underneath it all would have, I think, worked well. So this comes in 36 and 41. How about if that would have been 38 and 43? I think maybe that would have been a little more functional in the design. But I understand this is designed to be able to be grabbed with gloves and turned. So having this overhang makes it easier to grab. So probably for functionality's sake, this is exactly how it should be designed. But for a guy that's sitting at a desk most of the day and just, I'm hardly the aggressive weekend warrior. So with that, one of the things that is cool about this watch is the versatility with other straps. So let me show you some other straps. Here it is on a mesh strap. I personally like this particular design. I like the definitive lines there. I know a lot of folks just like the shark, the kind of the loose look. I really like it with the defined edge. It just kind of cleanly defines the edges of this watch and gives it a little classier look. So there it is on the mesh strap, and also looks fantastic on Nato, so let me show you that. And here we have it on a yellow and black Nato strap. Beautiful look. This is the watch that really works well with Nato, so here it is on yellow. And here we have it on a red and black Nato, behind Nato as well. Matches the automatic lettering on the dial. And finally, here we have it on the black and gray traditional Bond Nato. Very good look for the Marathon. So again, overall, it's an excellent watch. Great movement, solid case, solid construction. Beautiful look to the watch. The only thing is, again, I wish the base of the case were a little bit wider. I think it would benefit the look, the aesthetics of the watch. But overall, it's an excellent watch, excellent value for the money if you can get it used and get it at a decent price. Well, thanks very much for tuning in, and have a great day.